Juventini, welcome back to the All UVcast channel. I'm Alberto. You know the drill. It's February 9th. I'm going to bring you all the news surrounding La Vecchia Signora. All right. So, right out of the gate, we're going to talk about the contract renewal that could be, and that's Sciglio renewed until 2025. Currently, Juventus is in talks with his agents, and they're working on making that deal happen. Now, early reaction right now on social media from Juventini, the majority are perfectly fine with it. There are a few that are upset about it, saying that, look, we've been trying to get rid of this guy for the past few years, and now all of a sudden we're going to add 3 years to his contract. But things change, players change, and the face of the team changes. And the face of this team has changed quite a bit. And based on what we need help in other areas, do we create another position that we need to fill when he hasn't been an issue this season? And this is my main thing. Even when we talk about the likes of Bernardeschi has not been an issue this season, but a lot of fans hold the past against him in terms of even thinking about renewing the player. But I don't think you can do that because the team changes every year, and we've actually had a drastic change to this team over the past couple seasons, especially this last summer. So I don't think you create any more problems than you already have, and you just move forward. And I'm okay with a renewal for Sciglio. Yes, I cannot believe I'm saying this, but I'm okay with it. And we put out an early poll on Twitter, and so far 80% of Juventini out there agree with me to renew him. So there you have it on Sciglio. Now let's move over to Dybala. Dybala, there are no meetings set between Antun, his agent, and Juventus. Look for a meeting to be set for late February, early March between the player's agent and the team. Okay, so again, all eyes will be on this scenario because time keeps on passing by. This has been years in the making, and continue to not have a deal settled with Dybala. Obviously, you have all the circulating circumstances between the team. Arriva Bene's words, Paulo Dybala looking at management that stands in a stare down. Paulo Dybala apparently making a face after Allegri subbed him off that I made nothing of, but a lot of Juventini getting fired up about. This situation needs to end for both player and club. We need closure and we need to move on. I don't actually like the fact that this is going on while the season's being played out. I think they need to figure it out. But the concern is maybe he isn't in Juve's plans and they're just not bringing it to light because the season is still unfolding and we need Paulo because he's a big piece. What does everybody think about that one? Now, without further ado, let's get to the Coppa Italia match between Juventus and Sassuolo, which will take place tomorrow. Okay, Max Allegri having his press conference today. I will give you the breakdown of the press conference right now. Asked about players and unavailable and whatnot, and Bernardeschi will return with the team on Friday. Bonucci is back and he will start tomorrow, according to Allegri. Okay, asked about an assessment of Allegri's return to Juventus so far, and he says we are doing a good job. There is enthusiasm, okay, at the moment, but he also says too much enthusiasm is not good. So he tries to keep everybody focused and sharp. Coppa Italia tomorrow, Sassuolo Juventus. Allegri says Coppa Italia is one of our objectives. Asked about the Scudetto race and being able to make an impact there. And he says Inter still have a match in hand. So he does not like dreaming because of that match in hand. And Atalanta is our championship for now. Okay. Asked about certain players. Vlahovic, he says he needs to evaluate tomorrow. Zakaria picked up a knock, but he trained and is fine. He also states that it's possible that Caio Jorge will play. Continues on with Caio Jorge, saying that Caio Jorge could have ended up in Sassuolo, but at the end of the day, we preferred that he remain at Juventus. And this was highlighted during a lot of the Mercato shows I did, that Juventus basically didn't like the circumstances and scenarios surrounding the clubs that were interested in bringing in Caio Jorge. So they remained to keep him. And there you have it. Cuadrado has always brought the balance to the team. He can play fullback, fifth in midfield, third in attack. Tomorrow, he will play from the start, Allegri says. So there you go. So far, you got Panucci, you've got Quadrado, and you've got possible healthy amount of minutes for Caio Jorge. He continues talking about the youth players. He says Juventus are working well on the U23 players' development. The players who train with us now are even more prepared to play. So again, another feather in the cap of Cherubini, because this U23 project was his baby. Now, obviously, it is not anymore, but he's done a fantastic job getting it to where it is right now. And if Max is praising these young guys, they're doing something incredibly well. Now, he talks about the midfield, and he says Artur is growing. I really liked him on Sunday. He has great qualities under pressure. With Locatelli and Zaccaria, it's not easy to make choices now. This is an interesting one. Okay, saying that's not interesting to make those choices now. That was the midfield selection by many Juventini as their go-to with our group now, with the introduction of Zaccaria. So Locatelli, Artur, and Zaccaria. These words from Allegri are hinting that he's going to shake it up and mix these players up. So we want Locatelli more further ahead, but I don't think he's going to be used that way. I still see, based on what Allegri's saying, that Artur and Locatelli will be those switches at the 6. Zaccaria is going to head out into the mix. We know how he feels about Rabiot, and Allegri even talks about Rabiot there, saying the same goes for Rabiot. In addition to technique, he adds a lot of quality because he has very important physical skills, and he's playing calmly now, and it shows. So there you have it. I am curious to see what Max's go-to midfield will be in the big matches. It's going to be very, very interesting how he mixes those up. Me personally, I like a midfield of Artur as the 6, Locatelli on one side, Zaccaria or McKennie on the right, because we can't forget about McKennie, and McKennie's been in great form. So there you have it. Interesting. He finishes up talking about Morata and the possibility of him extending beyond. He doesn't get into that, but he just says Morata is an important player for us. And for months, he was playing with his back to goal, which doesn't suit his quality or style of play. And that hints at Max continuing on to use him the way he did this past weekend against Verona. So there you have it. That's a wrap for the Allegri press conference ahead of the Coppa Italia match between Juventus and Sassuolo. Don't forget, we will be here live tomorrow morning at 8:30 a.m. Eastern time to get you hyped up for that match. Make sure you're here. And if you haven't already, like this video, subscribe to the channel, your one-stop shop for everything Juventus. Talk to you all tomorrow. Finoallafine, Forza Juventus.